For devotions today, I wanted to talk about expectations. Our text is from Mark chapter 9. It's the story of the transfiguration of Jesus, and listen to it, and then we'll talk for a few minutes. 6 days later, Jesus took with him Peter and James and John and led them up a high mountain apart by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became dazzling white, such as no one on earth could bleach them. And there appeared to them Elijah with Moses, who were talking with Jesus. Then Peter said to Jesus, "Rabbi, it's good for us to be here. Let us make 3 dwellings, one for you, one for Moses, and one for Elijah." He didn't know what to say, for they were terrified. Then a cloud overshadowed them, and from the cloud there came a voice, "This is my son, the beloved, listen to him." Suddenly, when they looked around, they saw no one with them anymore but only Jesus. As they were coming down the mountain, he ordered them to tell no one about what they had seen until after the Son of Man had risen from the dead. That's the text we'll be working with this week. I was thinking about expectations because I'm wondering if Peter, James, and John, at least in this case, really knew what they were getting into. Knew what the road ahead was. If you look back, it says, as we start that text in verse 2, it says 6 days later. So 6 days later, 6 days prior, something had happened. But even before that, they've been casting out demons and healing sick people and feeding hungry people, and they've been working really hard. And it just strikes me that maybe they think that at some point the work is going to end, that they'll arrive, or that they'll get there, or that when Jesus' kingdom finally comes, then things will be easier, maybe. And we just don't see that in the text. We just don't see that on this side of heaven happening, that things get easier. They come down the mountain and they immediately find a great crowd with a demon-possessed boy and his father frantic, trying to get him help and find help, and they're just right back into it again. And so this story sets this sort of comparison or juxtaposition against the expectations of the divine kingdom of God and this man Jesus, who's more than a rabbi now. They see his divinity shining forth clearly, and they're told to listen to him, but then he goes right back down into the fray of life and into the fray of setting people free, of releasing them from whatever binds them, and how shocking that must have been to them. And I just wonder if that's not something that we think about in our own lives, that we've claimed faith and claimed the name Christian with some idea that things will feel easier. I think I do that sometimes. I look out at the world and think things should be getting better. And when you look at the world like that, you miss seeing all the places that Jesus is working, because it's clear here that Jesus wants us to know that his kingdom shows up in new life, that he's present in death and suffering and all of those heavy, weighty, binding things in life that keep us from experiencing the full joy. 6 days later, 6 days prior, Jesus had told the disciples that, "Truly I tell you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see that the kingdom of God has come with power." And so here's the kingdom of God, I think, coming with power in this transfiguration story, but also coming with power when they're setting people free, when they're down ministering to people. So you have this both and kind of thing, and I'd encourage us to, I think I'd use the word guard our expectations, or we'll miss seeing Jesus, and then we'll also miss seeing Jesus for us, the way that he's working to set us free and leading us into a deeper kind of faith and a deeper kind of life. So just think about that for today. for your devotion. We're moving towards Lent. Ash Wednesday's on Wednesday, where we're invited to begin this time of preparation to move towards Easter, to see our humanity and our mortality and our dustiness, if you will. And we'll be talking about that more then. But for now, think about your expectations out in the world that you have for the kingdom of God and what that looks like and your part in it, and how that works for you. And then remember the voice from the cloud that says, "This is my son, the beloved, listen to him." That God promises in Jesus to talk to you and speak to you. And I'd invite you to open your hearts today and listen and hear God's loving voice for you in the midst of your expectations and the way they've either been met or they've been let down, and hear Jesus there. Have a blessed day.